Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you how to paint clouds, so let's do it. Okay, to start, I'm just going to go through my materials. I have my Arches watercolor paper that's taped down by painter's tape. I have my Winsor Newton Cotman watercolors. I have my Princeton snap brush in a size 10. I also have a size 4 with me, and my size 16, and I have my water and my paper towel, and we're ready to go. Okay, so the reason why I taped down my paper today is because we're going to be covering most of it with water, which makes the paper warp, so like go all wavy. So in order to eliminate most of the warping of the paper, if you tape it down with some painter's tape, you should be good. Okay, so for this cloud kind of tutorial, we're going to be using a wet on wet technique. I am going to be fully transparent with you. I am not the best at clouds. Clouds are not my jam, but people have requested them and I am going to give it a try. I'm going to show you how I would do them. An easy, simple way to do them. And yeah, and I'm just going to create kind of like a little field at the bottom just so you can kind of get like a little bit of a landscape out of it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the biggest brush I have, which is a size 16, and I'm just going to wet up the whole area. If you would like to take a tiny bit of a light wash of something like a blue, just so you can see it better, you can. But ultimately, you want to create a light sheen to your paper, and I'm just going to actually leave this bottom portion dry for the field later. You don't want the water dripping all over. If you were to tilt it, mine's taped down to my table. I suggest you tape it down to a board, which I don't have on me right now. Then you can just tilt it slightly to see. But you should be able to see like a light sheen over the whole paper, and it shouldn't have drips. Okay, that's the kind that you want. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take whatever color you want your sky. So I'm gonna take some cobalt blue, just a nice light blue. And I'm just going to start tapping it around, leaving some white space for the clouds. Honestly, that's kind of it. Okay. Just leaving spaces where you want those clouds. Try and leave enough big white space. Like, I don't know if you can already tell here, it's starting to kind of seep in, and I want it to spread out a bit more. I just want to move some of that blue away, really get that whiteness. If that makes sense. Maybe we'll have some low clouds, some high clouds. And I'm just going to go in darker underneath some of those areas. Maybe a bit darker towards the top. But by using this wet on wet technique for the clouds, you're not going to get harsh cloud edges. It's going to be a bit of a softer sky. Okay. Just darkening up any areas you feel could use a bit more blue, especially at the top here. Like that. And now I'm just gonna wash my brush off completely, and I'm going to dry it, and I'm just going to push out some of that color away from the clouds because I want more of that white to show. So clean, oops, dry brush. Not completely dry, but like you dry it off on your paper towel dry. And it just picks up the color without completely drying that paper out. Because if you were to dab it with your paper towel, you're gonna get harsh lines because that area will be completely dry and then around it will be wet. So that's why you're gonna do it with a clean, not dry brush, but a damp brush. So you're not adding any more water, but it's not completely drying that area either. So just moving the clouds around. Like that. Okay, now we're gonna let this dry and then we will come back and do the second layer. Okay, so now that it's completely dry, we can work on the second layer. Now, if you like it just like this, very soft clouds, I think that looks fine too. But if you want a little bit more definition, what you're gonna do is you're gonna re-wet the whole area. Now, depending on the paper you're using, you might not wanna use this technique. Okay, I'm using Arches watercolor paper, which soaks in that watercolor and it stays. But if you're using a paper like Canson, the trouble with that is that even though this is dry and this is old, I can re-wet that area and some of that color will come right off. Okay, see? Which is not ideal, okay? If I do this to Arches paper, the color does not come off. It soaks in the paper. With Canson, unfortunately, the paper does kind of sit on top, or sorry, the paint does sit on top, so it's not really ideal to go back over with a wet wash again. But in this case, we can. If you are using Canson, what you can do is you can take a light wash of a gray, like a really light wash, and just go under some of those white clouds to create a bit of definition. But if you are using Arches, I'm going to show you what you can do. You're going to wet up that whole area again. Not too wet again where it's crazy, dripping everywhere. Just a light sheen, nice shine to it. Okay, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take, actually, let's see. I'm just gonna lift up some of that color. Just make sure it's white. Okay, I'm going to take a bit of Payne's Gray, mix it a bit with that blue, and I'm just going to lightly go underneath those white areas to create a bit of shadow, okay? Just a little bit. Like that, and then I can go and take some paper towel and I can just dab some of the clouds, not the whole cloud, just to make sure it is pretty white, okay? Just take up some of that color, just a bit. But because we did that wet on wet, it makes these clouds really nice and soft. Okay, so when I went over again with the second wash, a little of the blue color did run into those white areas, which is why I took it off. Like I said, with Canson, it would happen a lot more. Arches, I was surprised, actually did run a little bit, which is why I'm taking my paper towel to kind of soak up some of that color. I really want those clouds nice and white. But yeah, So there's the clouds part. I'm just going to show you how to do the field. I'm going to take some green. Just going to go across. Take some lemon yellow to get nice bright green highlights in that grass. Some of my sap green. You could always create some bushes if you like, trees. However you want your landscape to look. I just wanted to show you a quick tutorial on how I paint clouds. Now, before I finish, I might actually try a different technique with these clouds to make them a bit more sharp. So I'm gonna let this fully dry again and then we will come right back. Okay, now that it's dry again, I'm gonna try something different. Instead of doing that wash over top again and putting those little darker bits, I'm going to try something different. When I say I haven't painted many clouds, I really mean I haven't painted many clouds. So I'm just kind of going with the flow here. Okay, so I'm taking a really light wash of Payne's Gray. And I'm just going to kind of throw in a bit of shadow underneath some of these clouds. And then blend it out. I don't know how I like that. Really light wash. Okay, I don't think I'm a fan of how this one's looking. I'm just gonna try and pull some of that up. Really light wash just to create a bit of definition, but not a lot. Okay. And then kind of blending it out with just clean water. Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I was going for. Yeah, it just adds a little bit of definition. Just a very, very light wash though. I can't stress that enough because then you're gonna end up with these dark, dark gray lines. But yeah, it just adds a bit of definition. Now we take off the tape. And there you go. There is your tutorial, kind of, on light, fluffy watercolor clouds. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I really hope you liked it and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram for more. Have a great day, guys. Bye.